The government will, in the 2023-24 budget, have to look for 52 trillion shillings to run the economy. It is an increase from 48 trillion shillings allocated in the 2022-23 financial year.
Those in favor stand the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Taxpayers will foot 58% of the 29.6 trillion shillings that the taxman is required to raise, a figure higher than the 25.5 trillion shillings targeted by the end of the current financial year. The inability of government to finance the entire budget means accumulation of further debts from borrowing. Domestic debt refinancing or rollover will contribute 8.3 trillion shillings, external financing 8.2 trillion, domestic borrowing 3.3 trillion, grants and loans for budget support 2.7 trillion, and 287 billion shillings will come from local government revenue.
We prepared this budget in a high constrained environment and only priorities that fit within the available resources will be financed as appropriated by Parliament.
Although the budget may have swollen to 52 trillion shillings, the actual money available for government to distribute to entities has reduced from 25.4 trillion shillings to 25.1 trillion shillings. While the figure shows that the reduction is by 0.24 trillion shillings, it is actually higher considering that the amount of money allocated in the budget for the next financial year increased by 4.6 trillion shillings. This is owed to the increased amount proposed for debt service standing at 17 trillion shillings, up from 15 trillion, interest payments amounting to 6 trillion shillings, reimbursement of 1.5 trillion shillings to Bank of Uganda, and another 217 billion shillings for recapitalization of the bank.
Budget support, grants and loans are fixed for particular projects. Others, like domestic debt, refinancing, rollover, the rollover automatically offsets itself in expenditure, so you cannot spend it in other activities.
The adopted program-based budget allocated human capital development, which takes care of sectors like education and health, the lion's share amounting to 9.5 trillion shillings, representing 18% of the financial plan. It is followed by governance and security with 7.5 trillion shillings, representing 14%, integrated transport and infrastructure services 4.4 trillion shillings, which is 8.4%, private sector development 1.8 trillion shillings, and agro-industrialization at 1.7 trillion shillings.
The overall goal of the budget for next financial year and over the medium term is to redirect more resources towards wealth creation by facilitating more Ugandans to join the money economy.
The economy is envisaged to further rebound in the course of the financial year with a growth rate of up to 6%, reduction in inflation to a 5% single digit, as the size of the economy is projected to expand in this period to 206 trillion shillings, up from the current GDP worth 189 trillion shillings. According to the projections in the National Development Plan 3, the debt stock that stands at 86 trillion shillings will be maintained at a debt-to-GDP ratio of 53%. Jackson Onyango, NTV.